All right, if I make this one, you have to subscribe. That's all right, I'm getting you on this one. All right, if I make this one, you gotta like the video. These roads, people park on the streets. This is the house that I'm doing, and I want to park right there, but I can't. So at least here they can kind of snake through. Hi, this is Brad with Copper Creek Cuts, a lawn care company in Northeast Florida. Today's job, not the worst grass, it is pretty tall. This is a new community I really like. Trying to get more houses in it because I've already got, I think, about 8 clients in here, and it's all real super dense. Let's get that. That's been there a while. Oh, say hello to my little friend. Ooh. Came out. I was trying to get closer. Nope, nope, nope. He found me. He found me. We're leaving. We're leaving. Looks like we got some trash. We'll walk through with the picker first to get that out. This stuff is real thick. I'm not sure what these are. We'll have to stack all those. Once we come through and mow this section, we'll just stack all these right there, and then we can cut in there with the mower, get along the house. A subscriber sent me this a long time ago. I'm gonna find his name and put it on the screen, but this has been the best grabber. I leave it outside all the time and it's still in great shape. Anybody thirsty? I think that's it. So again, this is a new neighborhood that they have been building the last year, and it's about 15 minutes away from me. So it's a little further than I like to go, but there's a very tight packed area where there's about 130 houses, which is just, it's great if you're trying to build route density. So I've been mailing about 130 postcards every other week. I've got several thousand mailers, and I've spent a couple $100 on postcard stamps. So I've been doing that for the past few months, but I don't know, I don't do a good job of asking if the reason they're calling me is because of those, or if they're just, you know, searching on Google, and because I've got almost 50 reviews, they're just, you know, I'm the one they go with. But that would be good follow-up for me. But I've also got some door hangers I might put up in a little bit. I'm not sure. See what I feel like. But let's get this yard whipped into shape. Yeah, so I ended up not passing out any that day. It was it was very hot, and my patience was all burned up from filming. So anyways, this is going to be a director's commentary, which is probably going to be as boring as it sounds, considering the topic is mowing grass. I will say I've already had somebody on the time-lapse, or the sped-up version, say that they wanted to jam glass in their eyes because of how I do this. And you gotta love, you know, it's some completely generic profile that more likely than not is just somebody who's wanting to troll. You know, there's no picture, there's no information about a business or their skill set, there's no videos, there's no about section or anything like that. So one of the things that I have learned over the 4.5 years I've done this is I don't take really anybody seriously online unless they have some kind of social proof that I can see that backs up what they're saying. Oh, hold on one second. I think I'm picking up a piece of trash. Ooh, pizza. This would have shattered into a billion pieces. Yeah, whatever kids do homework on, those are the worst for running over in the lawn. Like, you just got some regular notebook paper, those things shatter so terribly. But yeah, so anyways, I'm not saying I don't listen to advice, but if somebody's mean or nasty or straight up criticizing me, unless they have like another lawn care channel, generally I don't even give them the time of reading it or considering it. Like one time I had somebody who say I was doing business wrong because I chose to just I couldn't get into a backyard. Somebody was going on vacation, and I said that I would cut their lawn for them. It was, I think, $50 a visit. And when I went and looked at the property for the estimate, I never tried to fully open the gate. I opened the gate enough so that I could get in the back, but when I showed up to actually do the work, the grass was so thick where the gate was, that I couldn't open it wide enough to get the mower in. So then I either had to, so basically what I did was I told the homeowner, look, I can't get in your backyard. I'm sorry, that's my fault. I'm going to mow your front yard for free while you're on vacation. If you want to, when you come back, open the gate for me, because it would have required digging up turf. It's not like it would have been something that didn't result in damage. I said, if you want to do that, I'll come back and take care of it for you for the $100 we agreed on. So they ended up just saying, no, we'll take care of it ourselves when we get back. I had people saying, you should have took the gate off of the hinges. Like, let's not even think about the fact that would have required another 30 minutes worth of time to go back home and get the equipment that I needed. And it would have carried the liability of having to take down and then put back up this 80-pound wooden gate by myself. So I had a lot of people say that. And then there was a couple of lawn care guys who have channels, so it wasn't just some random stranger saying, I should have string trimmed the whole thing. Or they said that they would have string trimmed the whole thing. And, basically my response was, well, that's fine for you, but I'm not going to spend 30 minutes string trimming a backyard for $50. Like, that is not worth it to me. It's, everybody's got their own values about what things are worth to them or what they'll do for time or money, that kind of thing. But yeah, in the Florida summer, no, I'm not string trimming a 30 minutes straight, a whole backyard. Plus, it was a really thick St. Augustine lawn that it just would have looked terrible, because you can't really do consistent height on I can't at least, on a big patch like that. So anyways, yeah, that's my tangent. Man, I already got off on a tangent at the very start of this thing about trolls, but I find myself much happier ignoring most of the comments. Every once in a while, though, somebody will make me laugh, so I'll go ahead and pin them and give them a little something to remember me by. Welcome to Petty 101 by Brad Bear. So anyways, this lawn was, not terrible. It probably had been 3 or 4 weeks since it had been done. All the grass that they put in here, I don't know if it's some kind of bahia or something, but it gets tall within 2 weeks. But it's pretty thin, so the TORO just mulches all of it up really, really well without any kind of issue. But so this guy said he wanted the one-time cut, which was priced at $70. I put some information in the description, but generally whenever I do pricing, I try to get at least $60 per man hour. So that means if I think a job is going to take 30 minutes, I will bid at least $30. I generally do not like to make people pay for me filming, so I don't include that time. So if I think a job is going to take an hour and 10 minutes of work, and then filming will take another 30 minutes, I'll just charge, my bid will just be the hour and 10 minutes of work, not including the film time. I don't think that's fair to them. For me to, for them to have to pay for my filming time. So generally I just make a best guess at how long the work will take and go from there. The other thing you'll start to see me do here is that I want to push all these clippings to the back. If I would have just brought a rake, it would have made things a lot easier, but I did not. I didn't think about it. So what I'm doing is pushing all the clippings to the back where there's a pond, and there is a big pond bank that all these clippings can biodegrade on, and it'll be out of the homeowner's property. It'll look a lot better. It won't be an eyesore for them. I think at this part I go down this long straightaway here and push all the clippings back. And so like this will be an instance where somebody will say, oh, you're stupid for using the mower. You should have just got the blower and blew all that. Well, yeah, that's one way to do it. But the reason I didn't is because, one, I didn't want to. Two, it was very hot, as most Florida days are. And so why would I walk back and forth with a blower that would probably take more time when I could just sit and go back and forth with the lawnmower? You know, there's no physical exertion here. So that's the other thing. A lot of times when I make decisions, it's based off of either convenience because I'm filming or something like that. Lots of people wonder why I don't do stripes. Well, first of all, you know, nobody down here where I'm at cares about stripes. They just want the grass cut. If you've got this many grass clippings, you're not going to be leaving nice stripes anyways, because the clippings are still going to be on the lawn. So there's one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people, they live in their little section corner of the world, and they assume that the way that they do things is the way that they should be done everywhere. So anytime I ever see anybody say, oh, well, you should have done it this way because that's how I do it where I am, you know, like I'll leave debris curbside for city pickup. Our city will pick it up for free. Other people are like, oh, you run a terrible business for leaving. If I left debris on the curb where I live, I would lose my job. It's like, well, dum, have you ever stopped to think that maybe the way things work in your corner of the world is not how it works it for everyone else? So, like, yeah, why would I charge my clients more to take something away? Why would I spend more time, more labor, when I can just leave it at the curb and the city takes care of it for free? The client's happy because they're saving money. They're only going to have to wait a few days before the city comes picks it up. People on the internet, they just don't think about those things, right? They know what they know, and they assume that's it. I think right here I'm picking up another piece of trash. Thankfully, this one was close to the trash can, so wasn't that far of a trip to go. I think on the next pass I actually run out of gas. That is one of the only bad things about that Toro, is that there is no fuel gauge on it. And then also when you go backwards, it leaves a lot of clumps. I don't know what it is about the deck design, but it can cut going backwards. It cuts fine going backwards, but it doesn't disperse clippings very well going backwards. And you'll leave, around the center blade, you'll leave just giant piles of clippings, which is kind of a bummer on a job like this one where I want to push everything in one direction. It would be really nice to cut a strip going forward, and then when I get to the end of that strip, move over a little bit and cut going backwards. But unfortunately, I can't do that with the Toro because it just lays the clippings right there. Yeah, now here I run out of gas, so I gotta run back to the truck and get the gas can out. And then we get back to mowing, no big deal. So that's kind of my tirade on internet trolls. I don't even know what we started talking about or how we got on this topic. Maybe these directors' commentaries aren't such a good idea. I don't know. But yeah, I really like the Toro, lots of power. It is nice to sit down after so many years of doing stand-on mowers. I still mainly use the stand-ons for the backyards, whether it's the 48-inch white Bobcat or the 36-inch green Bobcat. If there's any kind of gate, then I got to use the stand-on just because the 60-inch Toro is a little bit too big. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, but I think in the middle of September I might be going to a Toro facility to take a look at some goodies. I think on October 4th I'll be able to tell you about them and show you the stuff I've filmed. I am hoping against hope they've got some new battery technology, because that would be pretty cool. I'm very interested in commercial battery powered mowers, mainly just to see if they are to the point where commercial guys can use them. I think for somebody like me, absolutely could, because, you know, you think if I'm out working 8 or 9 hours a day, I'm not mowing for 8 or 9 hours a day. You know, I'm driving for 40 minutes of the day. I'm edging maybe 4 or 5 minutes on every single lawn, so that's, you know, between 30 and 40 minutes a day. And I'm string trimming for probably 10 minutes a lawn, so that's, you know, another hour and a half. So the amount of time that I am mowing is probably well within the tolerances of something like that Gravely Pro EV, where they say you can get 8 hours of mowing. I think that would work fine for me. But if somebody's got a crew or a full-fledged, I don't want to say full-fledged business, because then that makes it sound like if you're a solo guy, you don't have a business. But, you know, if they've got somebody who all they do all day is mow, then maybe it would be something where, you know, I don't know if there would be enough juice to do everything you needed it to do. Maybe if it was maintenance, it'd be fine. If you were mowing overgrown stuff for 8 hours, yeah, I don't know if it would or not. But I don't think a lot of people are going to start picking these up until there is somebody who starts testing them out on YouTube and starts making some videos. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the Bright Views of the world, you know, the giant lawn care companies, those people are probably just going to be like, oh yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and get it, because my issue, I think the main issue would be for owner operators who, you know, the end of the day, the decision is still with them, but they're still kind of feeling the brunt of each purchase. And those electric mowers are not cheap. I think that Gravely Pro turns like 30 grand. So, but anyways, it'd be really sweet if there was some electric stuff at Toro, because I might be able to whine and cry and finagle my way into trying some out for the channel. But I'm not holding my breath on that. So I do think there will be some goodies, but again, I won't be able to talk about them until October the 4th, but that will be fun. I have no clue what these spools are for, or from, I should say. If you know, like if you work with whatever wire comes on that and you know offhand, let me know. He had, what, 5 maybe of them around his property. He had a real big one on the back porch too, and so I don't know what that stuff was, but anyways, we'll move it out of the way. I know a lot of people, I mean, I'm not saying I love moving stuff, but I know a lot of lawn guys who are like, oh, I'm not moving anything. And like, I understand it. It's, you know, it's not your job to move stuff out of the yard like this. But what I will say is, especially on something like an initial cut where the person hasn't committed to a follow-up, I'll definitely go ahead and spend the extra time. There's no telling if this extra minute and a half of work is what would get me, you know, a recurring client because they saw it and they liked it. Or the opposite, if I didn't do it, if they saw it and they did not like it, and so they didn't hire me back, right? I think I had to take a wide turn up against the house there because there was a cellulose trap for termites. So these new houses, they all have these little green discs in the yard that are basically termite traps. They're paper cellulose traps that have some kind of toxin in them or something. And the idea is that when the termites get to that trap before your house, they eat it first, and then they end up dying. But whoever installed them in this neighborhood, my goodness, they're all like, none of them are flush with the ground like they're supposed to. You know, they all stick proud 2 or 3 inches, and it's just such a pain. So this is one of those instances where if I, sorry, I thought I had a sneeze coming. If I could cut going backwards, it would be really nice, and it would, I guess it would save me half the time, right? But unfortunately, I've just got to go back, which, you know, that's okay. It makes sure no stragglers are left behind because I'm cutting everything twice. But that's one of the only things I have not loved about this Toro. That and the fuel gauge, the lack of a fuel gauge. But again, this is their 2000 series, which I think is probably fair to say it's their entry-level commercial. So, you know, they're more heavy-duty commercial stuff. There might be a different deck, and there might also be a fuel gauge. But, yeah, no complaints with it so far, aside from those few things. The other thing about this grass being thin is that the clippings dry out pretty quickly, which is nice because it makes pushing them easier. You know, if clippings have a ton of moisture, then they're just going to clog the deck. And all right, so now we need to string trim this stuff and blow it back. And again, the reason that I'm doing this weird order is because I want to push all those clippings back. I wouldn't pay a lot of attention to the order I do things in. Most of the time I'm filming, the order I choose is nowhere near the most efficient, and it doesn't ever really make sense because when you're filming, you've got to do things to get the shots that you want, to tell the story you want. It's much, much different than if you just pulled up to this place and it's in the middle of your work day and you're just trying to get done as quick as you can. This thing was burning hot. If I was smart, I would have just grabbed the black plastic part, but, I've never been accused of being the smartest guy in the room. This is another example. Excuse me. That's another example of one of the things I don't mind moving, especially on an initial visit. Initial visits are usually a little bit more expensive than weekly or bi-weekly because you got to clean up, more grass. So I'll go a little bit further in what I will or won't do on those kind of jobs, just because most of the time the people are paying more, so I don't want to leave anything that they could be unhappy with. If this is, a weekly customer and I've said, listen, I certainly don't mind moving it for the first time, but I can't keep moving them every week, and they just left this stuff, well, that's a different story. But I actually went and bought a new HART string trimmer. That one that I'm using, I think maybe around 2 years I've had it now. It feels like it's getting on 2 years. But I think something in it's starting to go, and it's getting a little bit sluggish to start, the motor whenever I turn it off. And there is some weird behavior on it. So I actually went and picked another one up. I don't know if I would go out and get it if I hadn't already gotten, 4 batteries from HART. They sent me a whole bunch of equipment to test. But, for $170, I got a new string trimmer and another 4 amp hour battery. One of my 4 amp hours I lost because I didn't lose, but I left it out in a bucket in the rain. I got caught in a rainstorm and I forgot that I had put it in a bucket because that was a good place to keep it. So the battery that was on the bottom, it got waterlogged and died. So then I went down to 3 HART batteries. But now I'm back up to 4. I got a new string trimmer. I used it today. Today is September 2nd. And it worked out pretty good. It's got decent power. This tall stuff will wrap around it. I think a few times I get stuck on it. But it's got lots of power. It is not light, but it is lighter than the gas equivalents that I'm used to using, which is nice. And it is pretty nice not having to spend all the money on two-stroke. I haven't done any kind of calculations on how much it saved me, but it is nice not to have to worry about it. I'm guessing they must have fertilized this tree when they installed it, the home builders. I don't know why else this little section of grass would be so thick compared to everything else. If anybody has an idea, let me know. So I don't think there's too much more to add on this job, so I might just let you have the sounds and machines for the rest of this. Let me know how you like this format. Again, I'm experimenting with new things. My views have tanked over the past couple of months, and I think it's just because there's so many more people doing the tall grass that for a while was really only me doing it regularly. Maybe, me and a couple other people. I don't want to say I was the only one, but I was the main one. But now you've got guys who are driving, 2 and 3 hours out of the way to find lawns that are 4 feet tall, and, they're doing it for single moms with kids who have cancer and are sick, and it's incredibly emotional reveal for elderly people. And I'm not trying to, I'm not mad that they're doing it, because I think that's, basically they took what I did and they made it even more entertaining and clickable because they're adding that social aspect. I've never felt comfortable quite going to that extent because, I don't know, I just don't like putting the personal details of the people who are hiring me. Like, I'm okay focusing on the lawn, but once I start bringing in the people, I feel a little guilty. And by no means am I passing judgment on anybody who decides to do that themselves, but it's, like on one of the lawns I did for 30 bucks for an HOA. I remember I made 2 videos on it. Those 2 videos made like over $20,000, right? So I don't want to exploit somebody's personal circumstances for money. I'm fine exploiting their yard for money, but but I guess where I draw the line is, you know, focusing on the personal details or the circumstances that led up to the yard being overgrown, that kind of thing. Again, that's just my personal comfort level, so I'm not trying to say anything bad. Don't get mad if you do it, or your favorite channel, somebody who does it. I'm not trying to say anything bad. Calm down. But yeah, so anyways, I'm trying some new things to see if we can get the views back up. And I am planning on attending the GIE Expo, which should get a lot of product-based information or videos, which I know is a smaller percentage of what people watch this channel for. But also during the fall, we'll get back to doing some pressure washing as the grass cutting slows down. And then I've got a couple of projects that I have no clue how they will pan out. They are, you know, I just did that thing about I don't want to exploit people. The I don't know if, what is the word, series, the episodes. I don't know what you want to call it, but what I'm working on is kind of, I don't know. I can see some people having a problem with it, so I don't know. I'm still in the planning stages, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, yeah, now I'm blowing the clippings back. I think we've got a couple more minutes of mowing, and then the yard should be done. But again, please let me know what you thought of this, your suggestions for future content ideas. I'd love to hear it. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I got you now. If I make this, you got to sub and like. Maybe one day I'll get this thing done.